Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of the Creative Caffeine Podcast. What's up, guys? You are listening to the Creative Caffeine Podcast. My name's Connor.
My name's Ben.
And in this podcast, if you're looking to live that creative life, this is the podcast for you. We're going to be talking all things video,
Photo,
and content creation. The good, the bad,
and the ugly.
So sit back, grab your snacks, grab your drinks, and enjoy. There we go. So, firstly, we fucked up the last episode, didn't we? We put it out on a Tuesday,
and
we transfer broke. So, apologies first of all for the delay of Bradley's episode and the lack of video. Blame WeTransfer and Sony for that.
Yeah, I couldn't get the files to you.
You couldn't get the files.
But yeah, today we have our guest.
We have a guest.
Elliot.
Hello.
Yeah.
I can kind of hear the applause.
It's sort of.
We normally have headphones, but they're not going to reach in it.
Yeah, headphones probably won't reach today.
They set up a little bit better.
They do.
Yeah.
How you doing, man?
Thanks for having me, I guess.
Oh, pleasure and a privilege,
mate. As I
mate.
said, when I walked in this room, I was a bit like, I feel... I want to put a disclaimer out there that it's like, I also don't feel like I can bring anything to this podcast in the next however many minutes we do it for, but I'll give it my best shot. And
mate, we just love chatting to fellow creatives, isn't it?
Yeah, it's cool. It's nice. I think, I guess the first thing I wanted to like talk to you guys about, because I had something in mind before I came today, because I listened to the podcast and stuff.
Legend.
And it is that the by trade, what we do, especially freelancers, especially videographers, it is quite a lonely thing.
Yeah,
it is
what we do. Like massive. It's very like. I mean, most of us are technically classed as sole traders.
Yeah,
it's like you know, with that nature, you are kind of flying solo, and it's nice that you guys are doing something where it feels like there's a bit of community.
Oh, cheers, man!
Oh, definitely.
That's the aim and purpose, isn't it?
Yeah, I guess so.
I put up a clip because we'll put the full video up on like Spotify. We should be doing it on YouTube, shouldn't we? According to Connor,
we should be.
I just need to get around to making a YouTube channel for it.
I personally listen to podcasts in the car though.
True, yeah, same.
Spotify is just easy to go to.
It does the job.
I don't really go to YouTube to go and sit and watch like a full podcast.
And I put a clip up talking about how it can be actually quite a lonely job, and when you have like mates on set or like the client's got a budget for like an actual crew, it's actually such a blessing.
Yeah,
and I put that clip on TikTok, and so many like photographers and videographers who follow me resonated with that, and they were like shout for the people at the back, and I was like, it's so fucking true, isn't it?
It's weird. It's very weird. And when you do work with the big crews as well, there's like a whole new dynamic that comes with that.
Yeah.
Right. So like, if you're working with another two camera guys and a soundy or something, and you've never met them before, it's like suddenly there's then that dynamic to like deal with. Yeah. I came from. I am in the same background as you guys in that. You know, freelance, sole trader, doing everything from wedding videos to, you know, random publicity days for feature films. And a lot of the time you are on your own and you're running around solo. And so, yeah, it's been good. And this is cool. I like this. It's good.
Happy days.
May it continue. Caffeine podcast.
Yeah. Well, we don't actually have any caffeine with us. I mean, I've had 3 coffees today.
You're telling me that I've come to the caffeine podcast and all you've got for me is a sip of a Prime.
A sip of Prime and fridge.
A fridge that I provided myself.
Yeah. I mean, this is the first podcast we've done in the evening, isn't it?
Yeah, it is normally a morning thing, isn't it?
Yeah. Also, shout out to London Roads because
I feel a lot more awake than I normally do.
Shaking.
It's normally like waking up and.
Yeah, new studio as well. We're in London Roads today. If you follow Ben or I's work, we filmed how many videos in here? Fair amount of videos in here. So many.
But yeah, do you want to pop Elliot the question that we asked?
Oh yeah,
guest?
Will you marry me? Yeah, fine. I guess I will.
I have my you can't have my wedding ring. My wife will put me in the doghouse.
Is that your wedding ring?
Yeah, that's my wedding ring. Yeah,
it's a cool wedding ring.
It's a pretty sick wedding ring. It's heavy and doesn't fit.
Do you choose a wedding ring when you get married?
Yeah.
Yeah,
you get to choose.
I've always wondered that as well. Yeah, did you choose?
Yeah, we basically. This is so off topic. I love it. We got someone who makes wedding rings, small business based in like Hertfordshire, and she comes around with like boxes and I mean boxes of just rings, like male rings, female rings, like gold, silver, all sorts. And she's just like, yeah, just choose which one you like.
Right.
And
cool.
that's it. Yeah, I
Crazy.
chose, because silver and gold, it doesn't suit me. I've never worn anything that's really silver or gold. So I was like, black metal, matte black. It's the closest thing I can get to it.
It does look like it's about to slip off your finger, though.
It does,
It
but
made me a bit nervous.
it's surprisingly heavy. Like,
Right.
Do you take it off at the gym?
I do. I never wear it at the gym, just because
You
when
don't
you're
want
like
to catch it on
lifting
the
weights,
Yeah.
it'll get scratched. Tungsten can get.
I was paranoid
Quite
the other
scratched.
day at the gym. It was like
Thank you,
someone
I do.
dropped their ring down the little slot in the sauna and we had to hook it
Oh
out.
God, yeah. No, I take it off and put it in the in the locker.
Yeah, I was
Yeah,
gonna
so
say.
that.
Welcome to
But-
Locker Chat.
Locker chat. That's a good pod to be fair. The question we ask all our guests is: would you rather have an SD card that
Yeah.
has like unlimited memory, or a battery that never dies?
It's got to be a battery that never dies.
Nice, good choice.
Yeah, I
I-
think that's the majority, isn't it?
Yeah,
Yeah, you can make SSDs and things like that so massive now that really for what we are shooting in, you wouldn't ever have to really think about it.
Yeah.
You could be rolling 4K literally all day on
Mm.
some SSDs and
Yeah.
it'll never run out. So, but the one thing that will run out is your battery.
facts.
And I do
Right.
think sometimes as well with it depends what you're shooting with. On a drone, for instance, like you get about half an hour's recording, don't you?
Mm.
It's like if I do a wedding, it's just I have to charge all the batteries and bring all the batteries. So if I just
Yeah.
have one battery, it'll just never run out.
Yeah.
That's the
Like
thing.
a
We've
lot
got
easier.
one on charge over there, just as like backup, just
I
in
hate
case.
the charging thing, especially before a wedding. It's like, oh, have
Mm.
I got all my batteries for like my A camera, my B camera, my drone, and then like monitor as well. And
Yeah,
then,
I've made a checklist now, like
Yeah.
just a little Canva template that I can just print off when I'm packing, like for a wedding or a shoot or doing someone's YouTube video, just so I know I've got everything. Now.
battery's the main stress, I think.
Batteries to stress.
Yeah. So for me, it would be an unlimited battery.
That's a good answer.
Cool.
That's a good answer. So, what's your background? What did you start sort of
God.
shooting? And
Well,
what
actually, Ben, funny enough, knows all about my background because I was someone who, when I was a kid, the reason why I got into videos was I used to like building drones way before they were popular. I'm talking like pre-DJI. I used to build these drones out
or
of
DJI have milked that cash cow dry.
Literally, I know, right? So I used to build these drones that you'd have to buy the individual parts off the internet,
Yeah.
solder them together, and I used to like make videos of me doing so, a bit like what felt like pre-YouTube but was very much obviously YouTube. And I'd sell these kits that I built online, and people would buy them because they were quite hard to get hold of. It was the age of Team Black Sheep. They were like making these funky videos online, and I was obsessed with it for some reason. And so I was flying these drones with cameras on and making videos. And at one point, I got sponsored by the biggest hobby shop in the UK to send me some like drones. Like, I'm telling you that all of this content has also now been privated because I was so young and the videos are so cringy.
What's the saying? Your first videos are your worst videos.
Oh, dude. And bless it, my friend who had no interest in drones, no interest in video, I used to drag him along to like come and film for me and pretend to be Ant and Dec for the drone world.
So funny.
I think we all used to do that. Like when you start YouTube, you're like, I want to vlog. Come out with me so I don't look like a fucking idiot wandering around town with a
So I used to make that, loved that, and decided I wanted to go to college. But just before I went to college, this is a mad story, and I'll try and quickly glide over it. But there was a house being built, literally. There was a house being built over the road from where I live, and I didn't know anything about anyone that was moving in there. And all I knew that the owner who was building this house had a helicopter, and I really wanted to go in his helicopter. Wow. So what I did was to try and impress him, and so maybe one day he'll take me in his helicopter. I went and filmed with my drone around this house being built over the course of like 6 months. Anyway, someone moved in, and I thought, well, to be honest, it'd be a bit weird to have all this footage and for them not to know about it. So I tootled over with an SD card, knocked on the door, and answered it was a guy called Matt, who I now work with. And he was like, hi. And I was like, hey, there's an SD card here with your house being built on it with my drone. And at the time, he was a helicopter cameraman who like was, grappling himself to a Robinson helicopter and dangling out with it with a Ronin or something, or whatever before Ronin was called. And he was like, oh, you do drones, do you? Come on, we need to talk. Like, because he just didn't know much about it. And so then I started doing jobs with him. And when I was 16, I was filming, we filmed a stone fruit thing in Spain for Sainsbury's. And that,
nice.
I remember that was my first job. And I was just like, this is the most mental thing I've ever done ever.
Sainsbury's as a first client is pretty nuts.
No, it's not my client. It was his, but he took me under his wing.
First job though.
You know, so he was like a mentor, and I was only going on as like a, like a
shadowing.
Yeah, yes, but also basically to carry the boxes.
Nice.
Which it's what you need. You know, you need to have that experience and see firsthand. Went to college, did that, made YouTube videos still, then went to uni, and obviously Ben knows as well, one of my close friends was really successful on YouTube, and I used to do loads of filming with him all the time, and obviously studied television at uni, and while I was at uni I was editing videos for him and things like that, and so
busy
yeah, like completely surrounded by videos, completely not paying much attention to the education part of my course, but getting it done, you know, meeting people that are then going to be, you know, contacts in the future, which are now also close friends.
Yeah.
And then didn't really get that much from uni other than the people I've met, as probably most people you speak to say. Yeah. Uni is a strange experience for creatives because it's all subjective when it comes to marking. It's whether your lecturer pretty much just likes you as a person as opposed to like whatever you've done. And then came out of uni and started doing freelancing full time, even though this whole time since I was at college and everything, I was freelancing on a small basis, if you see what I mean, doing little bits and bobs whilst trying to do education. Left uni and then did it full time. And my first big job was with Channel 4, going and doing a documentary about the world's fastest car.
Saw that video on your website. That is nuts.
It's weird. It was mad. I can say that I'm one of only less than 10 people that have ever filmed a car going at 628 miles an hour. So
is that the one that what's his face? Richard Hammond drove?
No, he drove. I don't know what his was called, but it was still rocket propelled, wasn't it? But no, I don't. It's not the same one.
Not the same.
It's the one that I did was driven by a guy called Andy Green, who's an ex-fighter pilot.
Yeah.
And this thing has been being built for 15 years or so. I can't quite remember, but yeah, it was designed by ex-Formula One people, all like the aerodynamic people, like top people, like amazingly smart people. That I was out in the middle of the desert on pretty much my first, like what felt like getting into like working life, and just being like completely and utterly
in the
like,
deep end.
yeah,
so
in a sense.
How did that feel when you were like, were you approached by them or like?
Well, so basically, I don't know how I got that gig actually, because I
so many things like that where I'm like, how did that even happen?
It was the production house in Manchester. They do a lot of stuff for Channel 4 Discovery and things like that, and I think it might have just been someone that was like, they're looking for someone that can do editing and a low-key amount of shooting, because there's already a director shooter that's going out there. And then I went for an interview with them and stuff like that. But that's like very old school production company kind of vibes. You know, the big people that make all these documentaries that you see on TV every night. It was like old school. It's interesting because it was completely contrasted to everything I'd ever done up until that point.
Yeah.
So yeah, but yeah, it's been a weird ride, because then I came back from Africa and then I immediately started working pretty much for Matt again, and we work on like basically publicity for feature films, TV series and things like that. So going back from Africa, had a few months again freelancing and bits and bobs, and then went to Prague for 2 years.
Damn.
Working on an Amazon TV show called The Wheel of Time. Yeah, so
nice. Prague's beautiful.
That's funny. Yeah, it was just
that's a good little sell. The Wheel of Time.
Yeah, an interesting fantasy series. That's it was an amazing. It was because I'd had the experience of working abroad, and also having the experience of, because I was running their social media at the time and doing all that stuff. You find yourself doing like 7 different jobs at once, but everything we do, right? Like,
we're the head of marketing, we're the CEO, we're the CFO. Yeah.
Exactly. So that's been my path, really. I've been really lucky. Always tried to make sure that I'm kind of keeping on top of whatever I'm doing and making sure that I feel like comfortable in that situation. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
like, it's really easy when you start working for massive corporations and things like that, where you're quite intimidated by it. But it takes a bit of getting used to.
Oh, I bet.
Going from like doing stuff where you're just like, a client has asked me for a video. This is what the video I make, because I still do that and I still love doing that.
Yeah,
but it's completely different kettle of fish, and it's been adjusting.
Yeah.
Has been.
It must be quite jarring going from say like a smaller client job to have like a full on production for like an Amazon Prime series
in the desert.
Yeah, in the desert.
Yeah, absolutely.
In the desert.
Every day shoot in the desert. Even
absolutely. Like. Yeah, it's a weird one. I feel like I've been very fortunate, and I feel like everything I've done so far is because I've wholeheartedly loved that thing. I love cars. I love movies.
Yeah,
and I've really been really passionate about those things to try and find the jobs and the gigs that I want to do in those spaces.
No,
but it's not all plain sailing, don't get me wrong as well. That's the other thing.
I imagine shooting in the Sahara was quite a
it was
challenging experience.
God, yeah.
Like we deal with overheating in just rooms like this, but how was it like dealing with the camera in that sort of heat?
Oh, it was bad, yeah. So they didn't tell me that they wanted me to be shooting stuff, but I basically got there and they were like, yeah, we need a social presence while we're out here, so can you shoot the social videos for us? And I was like, literally all I brought is my A6300. I don't have any ND filters. I thought I was just going to be using it to take pictures of like lions on safari. I didn't think I was. Yeah. I thought I was technically hired as an edit assist and like second shooter for this other guy if he wasn't, you know, if there was an issue.
Yeah.
And then it turned out to me basically shooting pieces of content for them to upload every single day to give the however many hundreds of thousands of subscribers they've got, like live updates as to what was going on in the middle of the desert.
Slight different scope of work there.
Yeah, it was really, it was fun. It was challenging.
Yeah.
Because it felt, although I had the publicity guy from the project with me and he was like, well, listen, we would kind of want to do a bit about this today. That was great. But again, you still have to kind of add your like a bit of flair to it and a bit of like, how can I make this cool?
Yeah.
But yeah, so it's all
nuts.
been fun. It's all been fun. But like I was about to make the point in that not you hear about what freelance creatives do, and any time, like we're all probably guilty of it, in that whenever someone asks you what you've done and how you've whatever, it's always that you always tell people the good things.
Yeah.
But I think that it's important to let people know, especially if you're wanting to do freelance anything, photo, video, copywriting, like there's good days and there's bad days.
Oh,
right?
yeah.
And you know, you can't ever imagine going into anything and it just all being plain sailing. I definitely have had periods of time where I've, you know,
like, you take on jobs that you don't always enjoy as well. Like it's just like, obviously you like cars and that project was perfect, but like obviously you get projects that like things that you don't particularly enjoy, like the I don't know, like the idea of the project, but like obviously still it's a little bit less
still got to make money, haven't you, and still got to pay the bills.
Exactly.
True, got to keep the lights
like
on.
Obviously it'd be super motivating for you to work with cars.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like it's not always plain sailing. It's not always like let's make an epic video. Let's like film all day.
Content that you got to like.
But the other thing as well is if you're not getting the same work, I think there's something to be said about where, like with what we do, all of us post about what we're doing online, and then there'll be other people that are aspiring to do similar things or want to do more videos or whatever, and they'll see that and they'll have their own company but not be doing as much or not be as busy at the time. And I think there's also like a strange little
there's dry
there's
spells,
something
but
to be said about that as well. I think
with
videography, that's quite a hard thing to swallow because we're all creatives and we take everything personally. Right? You can't say that every client you've ever worked for has been head over heels, can you? Like some jobs do work and they go really well, and some things don't, and it feels really personal because it's your own product, doesn't it?
It's like when you send a video off you made for someone and you get like a list of revisions, even if it's like 5 things to change. I'm like, oh my god, they hate me. They hate the video.
So the point I think I was trying to make is that it is important. You know, I have been really busy and really fortunate over these of the first couple of years of doing it, but I just want to put like a clause out there to people, because I hear it all the time, and I felt like that before, where I've been like, they're really smashing it, and for some reason that'd get me down a little bit, but it shouldn't. It should be like more fuel to the fire, more to be like, actually these guys, I'm in contact with them, so that's a good thing in the first sense.
Little wins.
Yeah, I think I just wanted to bring that up really, because I think it's important, especially if there's other creatives. To hear about it, because I think we all feel about it. It's a very personal, quite a lonely thing to do. And there's things that come with that. There's definitely
exactly, and like it's just like the community you learn so much from as well, isn't it? Like even just from watching like all of like Alex's vlogs, just like Alex, you, and even like Jed and stuff, just all messing about, and it was just from watching them like each day. It was like, oh, I want to get that camera. I want to, and you actually learn so much just from watching, just a community of people.
Absolutely.
So I think it is important just to.
Yeah, it's definitely important to if you see other people, and the biggest win is being in contact with people, and it's an industry full of who, and kind of not in a sense.
Yeah, especially sort of like, for example, like when you spend say, good few hours, a couple of days editing a video, you send it off and they're like and you spent all that time on your own, putting all your sort of like heart and soul into that video, because that's the lonely part of it, because you spend I myself probably spend more time at my computer at my desk on my own editing than I am sort of like filming, doing shoots and stuff. And a lot of people, I think on social media, a lot of people will think that you're just shooting all day and that's it. When it actually, the behind the scenes, the admin, the editing, the sending off pictures to people, the emails and back and forth and stuff. So much more of that in there.
And when something doesn't go the right way, or the client's vision was different for what yours might be, you then take it personally, and you're like, it's just one of them things.
But we all kind of started doing YouTube as well, and I feel like that mainly. Like that's on YouTube. Amazing start of like I feel like I learned way more than I learned at uni and college just from doing YouTube, and just kind
when
of
you
doing
look
it every
back on
day.
your old videos and you're like, oh my goodness me, what was I doing?
They're so cringe, but I can see like the progression though, and it's like as you learn new like camera techniques.
I remember doing my my first, because I did like a little vlog series thing as well for a little while.
Didn't we all?
And I remember my first one, I obviously had the A6300, and I was like, I'm going to shoot this in S-Log3 because I'm just compressed. I know how to use it, and so you watch it back, and it's just like watching. It's like watching porridge go across the screen the whole way through, and you're like, I literally didn't add a grade to it. I just thought it looked cool and documentary-esque.
Let's go faded look.
Yeah.
This looks trash.
Matt made videos as well at one point, didn't he?
He did,
like high quality YouTube videos, I must say.
Yeah.
Back when everyone used to put cinematic in the titles or something in the YouTube title.
Yeah. It's been.
I think it's a great way of just like kind of learning and like practically and doing as well at the same time.
So looking back on like progress, prime example, we got back from Iceland. It just does feel like yesterday, don't it? We went to Iceland in October, dream location, like bucket list kind of place to go and shoot. I reckon if you look back at your Iceland vlog and then go and rewatch like older vlogs, the progression is just going to be nuts, isn't it?
Well, that was the thing. Yeah, it was just like obviously did YouTube for ages just because it was like I just use a camera every day for no reason and just enjoy messing about with cameras. And then
that's how we met.
Yeah, exactly. And then through COVID, it kind of just like slacked that off. And then
plummeted.
Yeah, pretty much, because there was nothing to vlog. And then so I didn't vlog for like years and years and years until we went to Iceland, and I was like, well, that's the reason I kind of wanted to go, just to film everything there. So I feel like in that time, I feel like I've learned so much that you can see the progression.
We're always learning as well. That's the thing about what we do. Like, how I'm going to put my hands up now and own up to something. In that recently, some corporate gigs that I've done, I've like gone, why am I grading this? Like, I can actually do a really good job of making sure that my camera is in all of the right things. Yeah. Even on a dynamic day of shooting where I'm inside, outside, I can still make sure. And so recently I did a gig and I didn't shoot in any color profile at all.
I ain't gonna lie, you're not alone.
Yeah,
but
you're not alone. We're recording this.
Oh, I see. Right, well, I see. We've got a couple of frauds over here. I'm joking.
He's a phony, a big fat phony.
and it knocked off so much time off the edit, and I was like, and it looks great. I was like, actually, why don't I just do that for things that are similar to it? Don't get me wrong. Like when we shoot stuff for other things, we have to make sure everything, because it's not us editing it. It just gets parceled up and ships over the sea. So obviously then you have to, because you're not editing it. But if you can take time off your workflow because of not having to grade something, but you know you confident in yourself, you can still make it look good in camera. So I did that, and I was like, I see.
That's how they do those quick turnarounds. No, to be honest, like I've done that before. I work with quite a few companies, and they'll just want like corporate, like talking head videos. They don't get published publicly. They're literally just YouTube unlisted and shared internally with staff. I've shot them on picture profile 1 or no 1080p. Picture profile, even in 1080p for just like a corporate thing, because it's just going to get uploaded to YouTube or just emailed across. And it's literally just making the cuts, removing the ums and ahs, and that's adding their fade in and fade out, because there's no creativity to it that they want. Like I've tried, like I think I spoke to it about the Bradley podcast. Like I've had some corporate stuff, and I'm like, you know, let's spice it up. Let's like add in like a nice little animated logo in. Let's add some B-roll of London, some B-roll of some office workers, and they're like, oh no, can you just remove them? We just literally just want the person talking, and that's it. And I'm like, damn, it's like weird, isn't it?
And say if they're going to pay you for the whole thing,
they've got a need for it as well with everything, right?
But I know I'm with you with the no color grade thing on certain videos.
We were just saying with the drone though, I feel like DJI have hit that sweet spot with their standard profile that you don't even need to. Cause
I mean, depends what you're matching it to. Like if you're shooting on like a I don't know, a red Komodo or something, and then you're like, there you go, have that. What the hell have you done? It looks nothing like your A cam or your B cam.
I feel like if you're just, I don't know, just any sort of like photos for like any sort of real estate or anything on a drone, like if you just keep
standard
it in
picture
profile, then no one's going to say anything, are they?
I haven't tried my drone's standard picture profile. I've never cut with it or anything like that.
Oh, okay.
So I'm not sure. I don't know.
So what are you filming in? D-Cine-like or?
Yeah. Usually.
D-Log, whatever it's called.
Absolute D-Log,
D-Log. See, I've got the Mini 3 Pro. That's only got D-Cine-like, and it is a pain to work with.
Right.
Yeah. And
it's not 10-bit though, right?
It's 10-bit, yeah.
Is it?
It is 10-bit on the DJI Mini 3,
yeah.
Yeah, it's 10-bit, but it's just, I don't know, like, it's just a pain in the ass to work with.
Right.
Whereas D-Cine-like, I've downloaded like some sample footage from like YouTubers' Dropboxes and stuff that they've linked to like when they're doing a review, and working with D-Cine-like is absolutely fine. Sorry, D-Log is what. Yeah, working with D-Log is absolutely fine.
Just that little bit more.
But it's flatter and but D-Cine-like, I just don't like it.
Right. Don't know.
Don't like it. What drones are you working with at the moment?
I've got a Mavic 2 Pro.
Nice.
And then, to be honest, recently I've been loving my racing drones.
Yeah.
So I've got a Cine Whoop. I've got like a 5-inch quad.
Nice.
And then I've got like another 3-inch quad, which is literally about that big, but it carries a drone on it. Sorry, a drone on it.
Like GoPro, like action cam.
A GoPro on it, yeah. And I've been really enjoying that. I did a video for a nightclub in London a few months ago, and it was like a pretty big nightclub with about 2,000 capacity in. So it was big enough. Yeah. There was nobody in it. It was empty, but they wanted like a fly around.
Oh, man.
So I took my Cine Whip around that, and I was just like, I can't believe I'm getting paid to do this. Like, this is feels like cheating, really, because I'm just like
playing a video game.
Yeah, literally. So yeah, I've been doing that a lot recently, but then also using the Inspire 2 Pro as well. It's not mine, just rent it out. So when I need it. But so yeah, that's the drones I'm rocking, which are I love my drones. That's where I started, and so I've always had a sweet spot for them. I just find myself, I think it's because I grew up flying drones around where I live in quite a small part of the world, whereby when I first started, people were like, oh, there's that sweet boy flying his drone around. But now it's like, within the last 5 years, it's like, oh my God, there's a drone in the sky. Everybody,
shoot it down.
Bring your kids indoors, quick.
Yeah.
What do you think you're doing, sir? The crime in this area is going up, I'm telling you. And you're like, how's it gone from like that sweet kid around the corner with a drone to like...
Well, that's the thing. I feel like, I don't know, whenever I've kind of driven through where you're from or even just like seen in videos before, it always seems like such a like quiet area, whereas round here I feel like it's so built up in like places.
Yeah.
The more built up you are, the less people care.
Yeah.
They're
too busy going about their day.
I guess, like where you're from.
So like I'm licensed drone op. I've done my GVC, so I've done like all the like bells and whistles for it. And I will still go to a place and I'll know full well that I'm fully within my legal right to fly there. There's no problems. But someone will still come over to me and I'll still be like, I don't want to get in trouble.
It's that drone anxiety. It's so real.
Like, drone anxiety is probably what's caused me to fly my drone like 50% less than what I actually do.
Yeah. Because when I went on holiday and I just wanted to make like a nice little holiday video, me and the wife, you know, and I took the drone up and some American woman just came over to me and went, "What are you doing?" I was like,
"How did she say it?"
My American accent's trash. She was like, "So what are you doing with that?" And I was like, "Oh, working. I'm just working." Technically, I was going to make a YouTube video. I was going to make some bread, and then there we go. And like, she went, "This gentleman is spying on us." And I was like, "I'm not fucking spying on you. I'm flying a drone to capture this mountain that's behind us." I was like,
she's probably from New York and has like Casey Neistat like flying a drone up to the window every morning anyway.
Yeah, flying his Phantom 4 across the fucking...
Yeah, that dude.
And it's so annoying when people come up to you and go, "Are you allowed to fly here?" And I'm like, "Yes."
"No, I'm not. I'm breaking the law. I'm very sorry."
"I'm about to get shot and so are you.
Would you video me as well just to put some concrete evidence?"
It was when we did that, before you had a drone, we did that video for the house removal people, didn't we?
Yeah.
And I was just doing the bit of drone work for you then, just flying over the top of them, like away from this dude's house. Way up in the sky.
Oh yeah, shit, yeah.
And he came round and was like, "Oh, that's buzzing near my windows and stuff." But it's like, well, if you take off like 50 meters away from
them. Yes, sir.
And
we've heard all about you and we just had to have a look.
It's like, I'm 200
Your bedroom is famous.
Yeah, exactly.
And he was like, don't point that at my house. And it's like, you can obviously see the 6 big white trucks we're here to film.
Yeah.
Why would we point it at your house?
Exactly.
Yeah, I think, it's so the public's perception of it has changed massively and it's fine because everyone's just scared. There's a new thing that's come on the block and everyone gets a bit scared. Whenever, think about the microwave. When that came out, everyone was like, "Oh my God, it must be." Do you know what I mean? It's the same thing. It's when something's new, everyone's terrified of it. And then all it takes is for like mainstream media to just prod it with a stick to make people even more livid when they see it. And more often than not, because there are bad people that use like
the people at the Gatwick Airport incident.
Yeah. The best way to get away with not being bothered is just to wear a high vis. If you know what you're doing is absolutely fine and you're all in the you're fine, which should be all the time. Just wear a high vis, you'll not get bothered.
Yeah. The thing I hate most is like when you put your drone down and the initial and you see wherever you're filming, people go.
Yeah,
yeah, literally.
But actually, mostly people are probably interested, aren't they? Like if I saw it in public, when I do see them in public, I'm like, yes,
very nice.
That's like me as well. Like I'd be interested, but you get so many people that just like instantly turn on to like police modes, don't they? And they're like, right, I'm gonna make it my mission to get that out of the sky.
Or when you're flying and then some guy comes over and goes, "Oh yeah, I've got a drone for Christmas. My son's really into it," and I'm like, great. So what does that do then? Do you use it? Can you view it on the phone?
That's usually weddings, isn't it?
Yeah.
When they feel like really quite familiar with you and they're like, "I've spent at least 4 hours with this drone operator today. I can ask him a few questions."
Yeah, literally. Or like, "Can I ever go?" No, you can't. I've had that at weddings before when like a parents come over and their child's like, "My son's really interesting.
My son's really interesting. Oh, is he? Hang on a minute. Let me just land my drone while
he's really interested in the drone. Can he ever go? No, he can't.
Yeah.
Like, it's so annoying. I mean, I love the interesting drones. I think I think everyone's seen that video of the FPV drone going through the bowling alley and stuff. That was great. I think everybody shared that. But then something negative happens, like those idiots who flew a drone over Gatwick Airport, and everyone's like, drones are bad. Drones are bad.
Yeah, it's also things like like South Park making episodes.
Yeah,
I
remember that.
It's just little things, loads of little micro things.
Yeah.
And also there is probably people out there that are like, I want to have a look at someone's garden 4 doors down. I'm going to do it. I don't care that I don't have any perception of it. I bought this thing off the Toys R Us shelf.
Yeah.
I'm just going to do what I want. And so fine. But it's just about having a almost loose script in your head about what you're going to say. The best thing I got when I did my drone license was this piece of card.
Oh.
And they actually give you like a physical.
Yeah, look. So now, if someone comes at me, I'm like, sorry, sir, step away from the drone. I'm licensed.
Yeah.
So, and that is honestly great because then people are just like, it's got all of the
license
CAA
to kill
stuff on it, blah, blah, blah. And then they're usually like, fine.
As you were.
Yeah, it's like, keep going.
Yeah, I don't really do a lot of drone stuff, to be honest. It's usually just accompanied to whatever it is I'm
just adds that production value, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Which is always nice. Yeah. Gives a different perspective because you got into drones before me. You were rocking.
Yeah, in fact, it was actually once again Alex that got me into drones as well. Because
I remember watching your videos and being like, Ben. Literally, like, I feel like I've been subconsciously like just messaging you every so often, like, Ben, what's he doing?
But I feel like
you're a safer drone pilot now.
Yeah,
you're a much safer drone pilot.
When it's strange. When I had a Phantom 3, it was like I felt like I had no care at all, and
this thing's a tank.
Yeah, and there was like no drone anxiety, so I could just go out and I'd just fly wherever because I was like, oh well, I know that I'm not gonna like purposely fly so close to like people and stuff or whatever. But and then obviously, yeah, like I
kind got brave.
As soon as like the drone anxiety and like I don't know, people looked at drones badly, then I started being a bit like, okay, I'm probably gonna have to.
It's just always knowing about what you're doing and having like a concise thing in your head where you're like, I know for a fact that ever since I've been in the sky or whatever, I know for a fact I haven't been in that field. I know for a fact I haven't been anywhere near them houses.
Yeah,
and I've literally got the data on my thing. Yeah, on my flight log to show anyone if they're willing enough to send a police officer. I had an experience where I was flying in my village where I live, or used to live, and a lady came over to me and she was like, "Oh, it's you flying the drone?" I was like, "Yeah." She went, "Oh, I'm really sorry. I've called the police." Oh, wow. I was like, all right. I was like, why did you do that? Without like, she was like, I didn't see you, but my husband's had his van broken into a couple of times and I saw the drone and I thought, it just must be related. I was like, oh, okay. I said, what did they say to you? Well, I don't know whether they're going to come because I basically said, there's a drone and they said, there's not much we can do, love. We can't get a net and around the sky.
Shoot it down.
Yeah. So she's like, so they might not come. And I was like, okay.
Thanks.
Have a nice day. Thank you so much for that. I can't wait for that to,
see what comes of that
on the podcast one day.
Yeah. Just you wait. They're going to love this on the podcast in 4 years' time.
Well, our mate Dave, he was filming for a school and he got the police called him, didn't
That's always one that's sketchy. But also, you can see, that's fine. Like, I was in a field. I was just in a field and the van was like on the road that was next to the field. And like at school... And unless you're stood in the school grounds flying it, unless you've got some high vis on, unless you've got like a teacher that they recognise, like fair enough. Yeah. Like if you get the police called on you flying your drone nearby a school and you haven't gone to the right appropriate like, things to do to prove to the public without them even having to say anything to you. You're kind of asking for it.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like
you brought it upon yourself.
Yeah.
No, exactly.
So what happened to Dave then?
What he had a landing pad. He did have his high vis on and everything, but
because he's got like the full license as well. Because I think from what I know, started off as more like he did mainly drone stuff and had like kind of a drone footage business. So yeah, he's like he literally has his like little landing pad and like his high vis and everything all the time anyway. And then I don't know what happened. Did he say?
I don't think he said what the outcome was. He just said that the school had been told that the police had been called
I think it must have just been like they got there and he was like, "Here's my license. Here's like what I'm doing."
It's so weird. I've like
as long as it was all right.
Yeah,
you know what I mean,
yeah, it was all good. I've never had any run-ins with the law with like filming and stuff. I think I've been stopped at an airport once for filming a vlog with my camera, and they were like, "Oh, can we see what you're recording?" And I told them no,
because I'm naked on some of the earlier.
Yeah, I've actually got tasteful nudes on here, very tasteful nudes, and they're not for you. No, I just said no because they needed like a warrant and cause to see what's on your camera. So I just told them what I was doing, and I was just filming a time lapse, and then they just said, "Fine, go to your gate."
Like, sorry, I got an NDA for half of the footage on here, so you're actually not allowed to see it.
It's mad. So you've been filming, like, I see on your website, BTS stuff.
Yeah.
You've just finished some BTS stuff, haven't you?
Yes. Not like anywhere near.
Not on that side.
Not there's anywhere near comparable, but I wasn't shooting on like a Komodo. Like this is the point where the main camera was a Komodo. I'm just, yeah. But it is a dream.
Yeah. Do you like doing BTS stuff?
For me, it's literally a dream come true because I've always wanted to be on a film set, and my girlfriend works in film. Like she works in visual effects.
Oh wow!
So she does all of the like. She's on set taking measurements of how far away the camera is from the actor, things like that. And she loves it, and she's very good at it. And because she has knowledge of cameras, and sometimes she'll come and film stuff with me. You know
nice.
what I mean?
So do you get kind of jobs together as like you
like external, not film jobs, but other bits and bobs? I'll be like, "Come on, Miles, we can do this," and it's nice because we both know how each other works in a sense.
Yeah, that must be quite nice.
But so working on a film set is a lifestyle choice. Working in the film industry, the men and women and everything that do that they've all devoted their life to that cause because. My girlfriend could just be told next week, we need to do 6-day weeks starting from 2 weeks time. That's just what's got to happen,
that's it.
So it's a proper lifestyle choice. And the nice thing about BTS is that more often than not, unless you get like, you find the golden ticket and you get embedded, which means that you're on a job from pre-production to like the red carpet, which is what we did for the last show. You will usually only go in for what's known as like dailies. So they'll be like, they're doing a big stunt on this day. They want to cover that. They want to do this. They want to do that. and they're quite difficult from a behind the scenes perspective because on a film set, you've got, depending on the size, you've got between 100 to 250 people that are all a really essential cog in this day of production. And everyone has that, and everyone is their cog with their job. And then you've got to go in there as a BTS shooter, like, hello, you don't know me, but I'm going to need to slow your cog down because of whatever reason. And you try you try your very best to be seen and not heard. That kind of like
a wedding,
don't get in the way.
On the wall kind of thing. And not
absolutely.
It's as obtrusive as possible, isn't it?
But it's hard because you still need to get moments from the actors. You still need to speak to the camera team about where you can be. You still need to speak to the grips about how far they're pulling a dolly back. You still need to talk to you still need to figure out the lighting and where you're casting shadows in that set, and if you can make that move. Like it's a completely different thing of shooting because when you shoot things, typically you're all that matters. Whereas when you go and do that, you're not. You need to figure out how you can get the best thing possible without anyone else being impacted by it.
And when the rest of the team, I guess, are like in their flow state, and you're trying like, sort of having to like,
Can I get you just for my girlfriend is one of these. She is I'm going to call it like core film set, like the core people that are on every film set. You've got your ADs, you've got your camera operators, you've got your grips, you've got your lighting team, you've got the director, you've got the cast. There's certain things that have to be on a film set for it to go. But then you have extra things that come in, like the publicity departments and like the other bits and bobs and stuff, and so you have to really do a fine line because you want to get that moment out of Vin Diesel, but also you have to make sure that the ADs know about it and the makeup hair team are waiting by, and do you know what I mean? Like it's a very interesting job, and I love it. I love it to bits because I get to be there. I get to experience them filming something, but you don't have the pressure of actually, do you know what I mean? Like the pressure's kind of, it's on you very much so, but it's also like, it's not, you're not making the film. You're like, you're there to observe.
So in terms of like your footage, what happens? Obviously, like what happens and where does it go once you've shot it? Because
it depends what client it is.
Like, behind the scenes bits of like everything coming up. Like
sometimes a news outlet will want the footage straight away, so you'll have to make proxies. You'll have to go back after a day of shooting for them, find the clips for them, make the proxies and send them off. More often than not, especially with films and TV and stuff like that, it's not going to be released for like a year and a half. So you just it all gets put on a big hard drive and you ship it off. Mostly to the States, and then that's it. And you write a log.
Seen again.
Yeah, well, eventually, you write a log, and then that's it. That's your bit of thing done.
Awesome.
So yeah, like I love it to bits. There's some incredibly talented people. You really feel like you're with the creme de la creme of like the industry when you're working on certain gigs and stuff, and it's amazing because once you get to know them and they get to trust you, you can then get more from them because then they're willing to help you, right?
You've built a rapport up and stuff with them.
Yeah, and so yeah, it's amazing, and I love it. And the BTS is, I'm going to say it's now BTS is my favorite department. But hats off to all everyone on a film set that's doing the other stuff, because until you've experienced what they have to go through, it's
a different
grueling day.
Quite a different world. Yeah, it's exciting though.
If you could do BTS on any film, whether it's already been shot or one that's coming out, what would it be? For me personally, I'd love to be just a fly on the wall during the filming of Oppenheimer.
Right.
That's a film I'm so excited for.
Right.
What would be your choice?
Do you know what? Mine's couldn't be further from something like that. Like I love being on every set. I love being on every set, right? But the ones that I would love to really get my teeth into more are things like the musical ones.
Ah, okay.
So I was chatting to a friend of mine who works in lighting, and he did Matilda.
Oh, nice.
The new Netflix Sony thing. And because when I went to watch that, I was like, that would have been a dream to work on because the energy's up, and you can make so much like social content for them. You can make so many little like featurette pieces about how they swung the girl's hair across the thing, and everyone's in a good mood because they're making a fluffy, happy film. Yeah, like don't get me wrong. A really close friend of mine did the behind the scenes for 1917.
Oh, your favourite film, isn't it?
Yeah,
is it really? Yeah,
just to meet Roger Deakins in the flesh, I'd be like, oh, there's such a nice guy from his podcast.
So he got to like do 1917, and obviously in a really intense film. Yeah, but incredible from a featurette perspective and behind the scenes because he was making it was incredible what they did in terms of a production feat. For me, like I would happily do something like I'd do anything really. Actually, to be honest, I'm not here to be like no, yes please. But something like Matilda, something really fluffy and fun would be wicked for me.
That workflow is probably quite nice and easy when everyone's sort of in that good mood. They're all happy and jolly. Good to be on camera, high energy. What about yourself, bro?
I feel like anything with Sam Mendes and Deakins is just so. I just love the way. Well, obviously, I listen to his podcast and like I've seen like little clips of him working, but like he's so interesting, like the way he does things, and like we're saying to Bradley, like he's so just. It seems like he's so relaxed, but his films are shot so amazingly. So I'd love to just see how he works. And just
it's incredible, and that's another thing which I feel very fortunate to have been able to experience is being on a set with a director. And seeing how they do stuff because it's not what you might imagine. You know what I mean? It's very interesting, and you learn a lot just by watching people. Yeah, and because that is BTS's biggest job is watching people. Yeah, you have to be able to look at talent, whether that's director or cast or whatever, and be like, I don't think they should be bothered today. I don't think I'm going to try and pester them today, just because I can tell. I can just see it in their body language. And you're watching everyone. That's part of the thing, is just to be able to fully. You
can get a gauge of it. It'd be like, oh, this person's like, she's getting frustrated at her line. She's not having the best time with her scenes. Let's leave her for today.
Absolutely. So yeah, it's and that's why that's why I love it so much, is because I am a people person and I love talking to people, and and cast is a very interesting, because as we spoke about before we went on here, is that actors are all obviously they're portraying a character.
Yeah.
So when you're like, hello, it's me from behind the scenes. How about like a little stand up? Sometimes they're not, they're actors. So they like to be in that character. And so when you're like asking them for, can I have the real expert, whoever it is, sometimes it's quite challenging to get those different things. And that's an interesting thing to try and, get from people.
Yeah.
I mean, think about how when we do corporate videos, it's like you get Gary from finances that needs to do a 5-minute talking head about like the way they're changing something, and you're like, okay, Gary, all I need from you is a few good sound bites. Whereas like film, like actors and stuff are just like, okay, what is it? Okay, let me think about that. Maybe I'll do it like this. Maybe I'll do it like this. Right, yeah. Okay, let's go. And it's like bosh, and you're like, okay, cool, done.
Yeah,
I've noticed that because I've worked with a few people who do like West End sort of stuff.
Yes.
And they're exactly the same.
Yeah.
They're like, did that go right? Like, should we do it like this way? Should I do it like that way? Should I look at camera? Should I look at you? It's
literally the same.
So funny.
Yeah, we did I'm not going to say the name because it's not come out yet, but we did one with a West End, a very big name in West End, and he was a dream when it comes to like, just like, this is what we need, this is what they're after, blah, blah, blah. How do you feel? Like, yeah, cool. And then just getting it, and it was amazing. Yeah, like incredible, insanely talented people, and that is part of the buzz that I get from it, is that I get to just be in the same room as talent that is
legends.
What feels like it just feels like completely out of this world, really. And
that is crazy.
I feel very lucky, and hopefully long may it continue. But
I was gonna say, how would you go about like getting about getting into the BTS, because obviously it's not something, until
it's quite niche, isn't it?
Yeah,
you don't really hear about it, and
a lot of
everything, especially I guess like film school and uni and stuff, is drilled into like you're going to be like a director, cinematographer, like in the main core like team.
BTS seems like a good way to get like
so
your foot
left
in the
out,
door and stuff, doesn't it?
Yeah. They're like one of the last directors that I worked with. Actually, he was chatting and he was saying his first job was BTS because he was friends with someone and they were like, yeah, you should come on set with me and hang out. Do you want? I could probably get you on as the BTS shooter. I don't think there was like I don't know how it worked, but so getting into BTS, I don't really know, because the big thing to have is a mentor. When in this world, right, you have to have someone that trusts you enough to like put you in those situations to be able to prove yourself. And so I'm not going to sit here and say that you can trawl LinkedIn and the internet for like said people or whatever. But I think if you do enough research and you apply yourself to enough projects like what you were doing the other day, Ben, I don't know. I honestly don't know, because I've been lucky enough to be
the path takes you, I guess, isn't it? With
exactly
the work that you take on.
Exactly. So the honest answer is I'm not sure, but somehow
it's just appear in the
boink. Oh, I'm here.
Literally.
So
before we wrap up, mate, what have you got coming up work wise that you can sort of say?
What you can say?
Well, I'm going away in 2 weeks to Cambodia.
Nice.
It'll be fun. We're doing a documentary. So.
Is that BTS for that as well?
No. We're actually making a documentary. But I don't know where I stand with any of the like
the NDAs and all that.
Like that. So that's as far as I'll go with it. But
Cambodia sounds cool.
Yeah, it does actually. Although I have to, they were like, you need to go and have all these jabs, and I was like, great, because when I went to Africa for the Bloodhound job, they were like, you need this, and this. And I remember going into the pharmacy and the lady had a line of needles. And I was like, oh God, here we go. And I don't like needles at all.
Yeah, that's really like me as well.
My brother's just had to do that. He's just literally just last week gone off traveling around South America for like 6 months, and he's been having to go in and out of the doctors because there's got to be time between each like injection. He said it was not fun. Yeah, not fun at all.
No, and the worst thing for me was that for some reason in my head I imagined it like all going into the same place, and it just overwhelmed me, and I was just like, see you later.
No.
Passed out. But I've got to have that again. That's why I'm traveling up north at the moment, to go and see my family and muster up the courage to go to a pharmacy where they do them all. But
That'll be pleasant.
But yeah, like, so that's coming up, and then fingers crossed some other projects and whatever. But you know, I still shoot the occasional wedding as well.
Yeah.
I've got some friends' weddings and stuff that are coming up, and I get really excited by weddings. I still really do. I think that it's the fundamentals of a wedding that I really love, because you're like, obviously if you get them as a client, you've never met these people other than when you've spoken to them over the phone, and you've somehow got to tell the story of the most important day of their relationship.
Yeah.
And you're given one shot at each of the sections, you know, one shot to do the ceremony right, one shot to do the speeches right, and then one shot to deliver something that they're going to remember forever. And it's all done in a day.
Yeah, there's no do-overs, is there?
It's all done in the day, and you can really cut your teeth in a wedding video. And I think it gets a bit of a weird, like,
yeah, it's underappreciated in a way, isn't it?
Yeah, massively. Strange. When you're like, but also, you know, but then there's weddings. Some people are like, oh really, wedding, and you're like,
you just do weddings, like.
But it's not even about that. It's just like, you're still, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know, there's a weird air around it, but I don't think there should be, because I think
I mainly do weddings, not because they're like the area that I particularly wanted to go into. I like quite wanted to go into music videos just because I was like, I did music before film and then just wanted to kind of combine them. But obviously, weddings is, well, at the stage that I'm at now, it's easier to earn off of and just kind of do music videos on the side of that to try and get some more experience on them.
The pressure is real.
But yeah, I feel like chucking yourself in the deep end with weddings is like probably quite a good idea, because the pressure is way more on a wedding than you'd be on.
And you're the only person there.
Exactly.
Right?
Most of the time,
And any mistake you make are kind of like, you learn from them instantly, and you're forced to.
And then you get it in the edit and it's in front of you. Yeah. Like, that's what I should have done differently.
And it really helps with storytelling, I think, with me, because I used to struggle. I used to have like a story in my head, and I used to struggle with like making decisions on camera to portray it. And I feel like with weddings, it really helps.
Well, the narrative's in front of you already.
Yeah,
but it's about
how you capture that.
It's how you get the moments together as well. That I think
do it really creatively.
That is a really understated thing, and for me is what I had to like come to realization with a little bit with my video stuff, is that whenever I see a camera and I'm asked to do video, I want to make it look the most beautiful that I possibly can.
Yeah.
Sometimes, and especially, you know, a couple of years ago when I was starting off and stuff, all I was thinking about was how can I make this look amazing, like shooting my vlogs in S-Log. When actually what you need to focus on is like, how can I make sure that I'm going to be in that place at that right time to capture a moment? Yeah. It doesn't matter if I'm slightly wobbly on the gimbal or the gimbal hasn't even turned on. Yeah. If that bride and groom are walking back towards me, that needs to, you know what I mean? Like, and it doesn't matter even if it looks a bit edgy, it might even add to the story in a sense.
They might like that, yeah.
So I think that coming to the realization that first and foremost, although you want things to look good, you need to really have a sit down with yourself and figure out what your 3 points of the video is, what the starting, what the middle is, and what the payoff is. Well, I've said 3 now, I'm about to say 4. And the ending is.
Who likes odd numbers anyway?
So yeah, like that's a big thing I would I definitely advocate if you're shooting anything. Make sure there's something there I was chatting to someone who makes videos corporately for a living, and he was like, corporate clients and clients that are paying for video teams aren't really interested in just getting the like typical run-of-the-mill like slow-mo with cheesy background music. They want to tell a little story somehow because it engages people a little bit way more.
Throw them off a bit, start with the speeches or you know,
definitely,
you know, make it unique, because a lot of them are the same, aren't they? And
absolutely, that is the thing as well. They are a lot the same, and when you see videographers that have been doing it for years and their forte is weddings, and they do 5 weddings a year and charge 20 grand a wedding, and they're in Italy doing that, and you watch what they do, and they shoot on like Leicas, and they have 2 like tentacle e-syncs in their pockets for audio. That's all they need. I've got 32-bit float on those tentacle e-syncs, so I don't have to worry about my levels. Put them there. My Leicas just here. Done. The image is beautiful.
Straight out.
The storytelling's there. Like
easy.
Laughing, and that's all you need. Literally, you could charge if you get your craft right, and you can really smash it with a wedding. You could have 2 really nice, beautiful cameras, like a small as a Leica, 4 tentacle syncs, let's say, and clip on mics, and you're golden.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
You can go and shoot the most nicest wedding video ever.
In terms of, because obviously, well, I know you've lived in 3 different places, including uni. What, in terms of like work, what's like, how like do you enjoy when you move down here? Like,
do I enjoy moving around for work?
Because obviously when you're at uni, you're like in the hub of film, I guess. Like you were surrounded by all the different.
So I lived in Manchester for studying, and that has Media City there, and the university will continually tell you that their connections are great and blah 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 blah. But they'll only unless you really fight to get jobs at the BBC or whatever around it, if that's what you're interested in. You have to go out and do it yourself because the uni have got connections. Yeah. Like someone knows someone at somewhere. Yeah. But you need to go out and find it yourself. So, I'd say if there was 100 people on my course, 7 are working within media. Do you know what I mean? Like it's probably the same across the board.
And that's because I feel like also where you're from as well, like it's so far away from London when so much work's coming from London as well. Yeah. I guess. But
it works everywhere. That's the thing, right? So lived in Manchester, did some work at different production houses there, and was freelance there as well, and also worked remotely for Alex. And then went back home, freelance from the Midlands, and then lived in Prague for 2 years. Throughout COVID and all that, which was a hoot.
That was a right blast.
Obviously went to Africa, but now I've moved to Buckinghamshire, and we're right in between all of the studios. So hopefully, when we get work, it's not a pain in the neck to get to any of those studios. So that's nice. But what I would say is about working abroad is you're very lucky. Like I feel very fortunate to have worked abroad, but it's hard. Yeah, like you start to really understand what missing your family feels like and missing your friends feels like. Like I've sacrificed so much to have been in those places when in actual I could have been doing something that was local or whatever, but it wouldn't have given me the same opportunities.
You probably wouldn't have learned, and what you learned as well from it.
But it's hard. Like you're incredibly lucky to be able to go abroad and work, but it is hard. That can't be understated enough. Like
last year I had the opportunity, which was nice. It was a really grueling job. It was only a week. It's not as long as like you've been out in places, but it was just a week away from my wife. Just it sounds like the dream job. Start from London, go to Monaco, for all these different cities, following supercars around, filming and editing like a little highlight reel of the day. It's grueling though, because like you'll be filming all day in these cars, in the car for about 4 hours a day. Maybe actually some routes were actually 6 hours.
Really?
Yeah, Switzerland through to Italy was like 6 hours. But you're filming and people think, oh, that's great, that's so much fun. Then you got to edit, have a video ready for like 9 a.m. ready to post. And you really do miss like your home from familiarities. And I know what you mean.
It's tough. It's tough. But if you ever get the opportunity, you've got to try it, right?
Yeah.
I mean, also,
I learned so much from it. It was great.
Also, you're gonna go abroad. If you do video, one day you're gonna be abroad. One of my
goals.
So the first thing I did was I went to Spain, but we also got sent to San Francisco one time, and that was like really strange because you just like you're out there making a video in San Francisco, and
standard.
It was cool, but you're also like. It feels so strange because you would normally be there on a holiday.
Yeah.
And so now, honestly, when I wake up and get on go for a flight, I don't, if I'm going on holiday with my girlfriend, it doesn't register me that I'm going on holiday with my girlfriend, because I'd say
it's a change of mindset, isn't it?
Oh God, yeah. For every 10 planes I've been on, 8 of them are for work. So now I'm just like absolutely wired to that. When I'm at an airport, I'm just in like autopilot mode of like, I'm not excited for where I'm going because I think it's
so familiar feeling, like thinking, have I got everything? Have I got everything?
Yeah. So yeah, it's cool working abroad though. It's nice, but also like you guys are in a great space in around Hertford.
Which is good.
There's loads, and they're also building another film studio, aren't they, around here somewhere?
Yeah, I heard that because obviously we've got Elstree, which is not too far away. Because obviously a lot of the people I was at uni with wanted to go into film, whereas I was one of the few people that wanted to go into more corporate freelance. And So yeah, that was quite convenient for them, obviously, having Elstree so close that you can like start as a runner and then who knows where you end up after that, because there's always runner jobs going there.
Yeah.
True.
But you're chasing the, you're chasing the operating dream, and usually runners, if you go into being a runner, they'll go through the becoming like an AD or becoming an assistant director and things like that. It's a kind of a different route. Whereas if you're wanting to do more camera stuff, you kind of want to keep learning your craft and doing that. But obviously, you've also got to take jobs whereby you aren't the camera operator. I've done so many jobs where I'm not the camera operator. Technically, on paper, the first one I did, I was down as an edit like assist. Out on the ground.
A lot of my jobs is literally just getting sent footage, editing it up and uploading it to YouTube channels for them.
But it all is another string to your bow. It all makes, like I said earlier, like you said, we're the CEO, we're the marketing guy, and we're the editor. So it's one of them. It's a very interesting trade, and it's not for everyone. That's for sure.
So I did do one job in London on a set for, was it Emily Burns'
music video.
Yeah, and she was like, obviously that was quite a big one, and I was just doing BTS for that, but I feel like I learned so much just from spending like a whole 12 hours watching like the crew of the film set just doing what they do, and then you learn loads from it. Even
absolutely.
You mentioned having like different strings on boat. Like I'd say, like last question would be, I watched a great video the other day. I follow a lot of people who like they call themselves social media experts, but there's one that I quite resonate with on YouTube. It's quite cool. And this lady was saying a trend that's going to happen this year is anti-niching down. Because so many people will say, oh, niche down, choose one thing, choose just to be a photographer, just to be a videographer, or just shoot one thing. And do you agree with that? Like,
in some ways.
Shoot as much as possible or just do like one thing?
I don't know, because I'm a bit conflicted with that whole point, because in some senses I'm like, you can have the best camera operator in the world, but if you get him to shoot a wedding and he's never done one before, he's going to be like, what do I do? Because camera operators in the highest level in film are literally handed a camera, told to point it in a certain direction and do movements and things like that. And then that camera's taken off them after that shot. That's it. It literally gets dragged off them. So if you give them a wedding video to do, they might be, I'm sure they could do it, but they wouldn't be as good as a seasoned wedding videographer, right? So my point is probably that it depends. I love my niche. I love the niche of BTS and everything that comes with it, because there is so many things to consider, like we've spoken about already. There's all of the like social things to it. And so to be able to confidently go on a set and know what I need to get and things like that, that in itself is like a micro, it's like a skill. It is a skill, right? So I think that it depends. It depends what you want to ultimately do. Where do you see yourself? If you see yourself as the go-to commercial TV ad maker, then you guess you're probably going to have to keep trying to shoot commercials for TV, right?
Lean into it.
But then if you want to be the all-rounder that shoots everything from weddings to things, I don't know is the thing. Because in some ways I'm like, yes, you should find a niche that works for you, and that should be your main go-to thing, right?
Loads of people conflicted on it.
Yeah, but then look at it like an accountant, I guess. An accountant will have, I don't know actually, because I don't know how accountants actually work, but accountant might have a company that they work for, that's their bills, they pay their bills. But an accountant might also have 4 or 5 friends at home that need their books doing, but they're only small sole traders, so it doesn't take them long. So they might, don't worry, mate, give us a few £100 and I'll sort that for you. Same with video. You might be the music video guy to go to. But also, if someone's like, oh, actually, Ben, I've seen what you do on this. Is there any chance you can you're going to do it, aren't you, right?
You need a banging wedding video.
Depending how busy you get, though, as well, right? Because that's the other thing is, I feel like I'm at this stage in my career where like I've actually learned a lot in one thing, and I do know a lot about the other things and bits and bobs. But I still feel like I'm always learning. But these people that have been doing it for 30 years, they know what their thing is. Right? So like you get your directors of TV adverts, to go back to that.
Yeah.
I've been making TV adverts for 30 years.
Yeah.
Why would I ever touch a wedding video? It doesn't matter.
No, exactly.
So my
Depends where
so
you're
I would
at.
say yes, niches are important if you found your thing.
Nice.
And I'd say stick to that thing. If you can continually get work that pays for you to do that thing, you'll get better and better at it, and you'll just do that. And then, especially if that's the thing you enjoy, right? More to you. If you're
Exactly, yeah.
It makes formatting your website quite hard, because I think,
True.
especially myself, it's like I want to make it all like weddingy, because like that's what I do at the moment, but it's not what I predominantly want to move into. So it's like I have all these pages for different things, and I do like advertise more weddings at the moment than anything else. But it's like I want to keep everything on there just in case people want it. But at the same time, I want to make it, if someone comes onto my website, I want them to be like, oh, this is a wedding videographer, because they'll probably take a wedding videographer over someone that does a bit of everything. Just because if they want it bad, then they'll pay for someone that specifically specializes in it. But
it's an interesting one. That's a good. It's a good talk point. But I don't have. I know how I kind of feel about it, because I kind of relate to it in a bit. I wouldn't want to go on set with someone that's never shot BTS before.
Exactly. Yeah.
If someone was like, yeah, this guy's going to come on, unless it's planned that it's their first time and they need, they want to try and get them to that point.
Yeah.
I'd be quite like, oh God, really? Because this could end badly.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
No, exactly.
It's a way to do it.
But also like everyone's got to have their first day. Everyone's got to have their first day of everything, and
you never know,
it's
they
always
might
good
end
to support
up
people.
that being their career.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then also, exactly. It's good to support people, and
Yeah.
Well, mate, thank
that
you
was
so
like
much for
such an
coming on.
intertwined answer. You're gonna have to like chop that up a little bit. I feel like I went off in like 3 different tangents.
I love it, mate. No, thank you so much for coming on, man.
Yeah, thanks for
one final question: Premiere or
Premiere?
Yeah,
before
Premiere.
you even talk about whatever the next thing is, I just
1 point to me.
Whatever the next thing is. Yeah.
Your final cut. Aren't
Final
you?
cut.
So
Yeah.
it's a constant
Cool.
I'm
argument.
in a minority.
you like your little special transitions.
The transitions are shit on Final Cut. I will give you that. The motion graphics on Premiere are so much better.
Right.
It sucks.
Yeah. I mean, each to their own, right? Whatever works for you.
Da Vinci's on the rise, isn't it?
Is it right? Well,
Yeah.
I'm not sure.
You're considering it, aren't you?
Yeah, I just want to
Just a grade.
grade
Just a
weddings,
grade.
because Phil
Right.
just want to get into learning a bit
Just
more
shoot
about
the
weddings.
709, mate. It'll be all right.
Yeah, you'll be
Thanks for
blessed.
watching.
And on that note, cheers for watching,
Cheers.
guys.